the Director of Children's Ministry for Highway Church of God, and the Director of Children's Ministry for Life Worship Center. So I'm going to ask all of you to stand to your feet quickly. So y'all going to call me Miss Cass because that's what I'm used to hearing, Miss Cass. Because I have the little people. I call them my little people. I normally have from about 2.5 to 12. But you know, they prophesied a new thing over me this week and they said 0. 0 to 12. So 0 to 12 is I'm here to try to encourage and empower you on how, giving you strategies on how to deal with the 0 to 12. So what I want you to do is I want you to be able to run to me and tell me 2 people from your networking group that you know their names. You found out their names. So I need someone to run to me. The first person run to me, I have a little prize. Right here. I don't know why I wanted that, because I know you that know these people, you know.
Okay, right. Trayvon and Anika.
Right. There you go.
Thank you.
You got 2?
Alvin and Masha.
All right. All right, you got 2? 2? Only 2? Give me yours. Ashley. There you go. All right, so that's the first little nugget I gave y'all. Always have some way to reward.
That's
So you got a hand. All right, and you maybe see
that
it.
candy in your bag.
So as Children's Ministry Director, of course, you always have to be on top of your game and always have to be awake even when you're asleep.
Wow.
So that's the first point. But I want to start off to say that the first and the only thing that causes you to thrive in children's ministry is commitment. Commitment first to God, and secondly, commitment to the assignment. You are not a Sunday school teacher. For those of you that are in children's ministry, that's exactly what it is. Ministry. Times have changed. Atmospheres have changed. Stratospheres have changed. Technology has enhanced. Things are evolving minute by minute. So we cannot take this lightly that we have just got these children into church, we put them in a room and we give them some cookies and we tell them to say the books of the Bible. That's a Sunday school teacher. Now you're in children's ministry. And so first off, you're not committed to God to be able to hear His voice on what it is you need to teach and to empower these children with. You are going to find yourself in a very frustrated situation. Proverbs 16:3 says to commit your work to the Lord and your plans will be established. This is a responsibility to serve God and carry out our duties faithfully. And we cannot do that if we're not committed to God. Because I can tell you, for those of you that work with children's ministry and youth ministry know that if you don't have a level of commitment, you will not survive. This has to be seen as an assignment. And only in that regard will you be able to push past the tiredness, to push past the intolerable behaviors from some of the children, to push past the barriers and the things that are hovering over children's ministry. Because you see, when you think children, they are considered minute, they are considered unimportant, they are considered the bottom of the ministry, and it's not. Because these little children are your next generation. These are your next youth leaders. These are your next teen group, your next leaders in church, your next youth leaders. So if we don't start at the foundational stages, when do we start? At 12? At 14? It's too late. Studies have proven, psychologists have proven that by the age of 7, a child has already established who and what they are going to become. Their personalities are already there. Their giftings are already there. Their mindset has already established itself. So if at 12 years old, you're going to start to tell that child that this is how you ought to behave in church, and they never heard it before, you taking them back to the baby stages. So how long do you think it's going to take you to get them where they should be at 13 if they're already 13? 13 years, eh? That makes them how old? 26. And that's how we end up with 30-year-olds who are believing in Christ. So we have to understand that children's ministry requires a level of commitment that is imperishable. It's necessary in order for us to be able to take our children and our ministry to the next level. So when we commit, what do we do? Anyway, when we commit, what do we do? When we commit to something, what are we doing?
Putting our whole selves into it.
Yes, you put your whole selves. Exactly. Come. Kids get excited about candy. And they get excited about stickers. Let me tell you what, I don't always use candy. I'm using it with y'all because y'all can't carry over any points. I use points. Points. $0. It costs me nothing. Points. I tell them they're working towards a goal, and that in itself is instilling something in them. So I'm rewarding you now because after the day, I probably won't see y'all for maybe a couple months. I don't want to say next year because it's going to be before that. Because we're going to be having other events that cause us to come together. So I'm rewarding you now. But those children that come every week, we give them a point system. And that point system carries them to the end of the year. And then when we tally your points, then you get your big reward. You're working towards something. We are establishing things and establishing mindsets that are going to take them through the rest of their lives. So they're learning from now how to work towards something. All right, so when we commit, yes, we offer everything. We offer ourselves. Didn't Christ do that? He offered his life. Ministry only asking for a little bit of our time, a fraction of our time. And this submission we offer in our ministry and ourselves is to do the work of the kingdom. And that is supposed to be the ultimate goal. This is no agenda, no personal agenda. This is no self-righteous act. This is doing the work of the kingdom. And when we establish ourselves that this work is unto God, is how we function effectively in ministry. The first thing you have to, so this is, you would think based on what's been said already, that we all sat down and collaborated how we do this presentation because my number one, my first after commitment is passion. You must have passion for this ministry. Christ had the passion that he had for us enough to die. All he's asking you to do in this ministry is to love, to nurture, and to be a part of the development of these little ones that has been sent into our care. So children ministry leaders must have a passion for the development and the well-being of children. You've got to love them. If you don't like children, you should not be in children's ministry. If you can't stand the snotty nose, and you can't stand the child calling your name 10 times, listen to you. Because I have a little girl, I promise you she goes home and calls her mother Miss Cass. And she don't say, Miss Cass, Miss Cass, Miss Cass, Miss Cass. And I'm going to get that at least 10 times on a Sunday. And that's just all. On an average at life, we have 30 kids. Average on a Sunday. With one instructor and one assistant. Yes.
Say it again.
One instructor, one assistant. 30 kids. And we don't have any age division, separation. So we don't have the toddlers in room 1. And the 3 to 5 in room 2, and the 10 to 12 in room 3. They are all in one room. So we had to come with come up with strategies on how to do that. And you cannot do that if you're not passionate about this. If you feel like I can't take this, I can knock this child out, please, please give my children to someone else. Please give my children to someone else. Because that is what is required of you. As a ministry leader, as a ministry worker on the children's ministry, it's required. I'll give you a little quote that says, in the race to a child's heart, the first one there wins. So the minute you tell a child, move, I'm just on yours. Can you ever come back and tell that child about the word of God? Because that's their first impression of you. Is that that's the woman who don't like me because I have a snotty nose. And why you always have to look like this when you come? Why you always asking for food when you come to church? Why you always need something? Just the child always needs something. They feed you, eh? They probably didn't. So as children's ministry, you are doing ministry because you don't know how this child is coming to you. So when you welcome that child, listen to me. Some Sundays, I am on 0%. Zero. Like I don't really I got this, and that will be the Sunday. It's about 35 minutes. And when I reach right there, Miss Cass! Oh, that whole section. Run straight to the door. I'm like, just let me get praise and worship, please. Let me just see if I can recharge. But there's no time. Because the minute I hit that door, Miss Cass reached. Miss Cass. My children's ministry leader, Miss Cass reached. So I had to leave my 0% in the car. And that's what it takes. But if you're called to this assignment, God has graced you with what you need to excel in this assignment, and you have to identify that. So I'm not bashing your corns if you've been teaching Sunday school or you've been working in children's ministry for the past 15 years because your grandma used to do it, or because the church didn't have nobody else but so they put you there. If you know that you can't do it, sit down with your pastor and say, sir, this is not the place for me. Because what these children, I can take this from 30 to 5 if you leave me here. Because these children that hate church. And we are fighting, like Marisha said, we are fighting with a lot. I have 9-year-olds that are having conversations that I never had at 9. They have been exposed to things that I didn't learn till I was 15. So if you are not on your game and this is not a passion for you, you just tell them like what you say. Work in the sound booth. Usher. You're on the praise team. My God. But don't minister to the children. Because I will tell you something. If you want to know someone, put them with a child for 5 minutes. A child could sniff you out. They will sniff you out. And when you see them say, no. Sometimes they ask me, who in children's church today? They want to know who teaching. And when they find out, that's turn all kind of things. They're either going to be, yes, or, and we don't want to go, she have to. You don't want that. Because we already having a challenge with keeping our kids involved in ministry and wanting to come to church. So to have to come to church and then go in children's church with this mean old woman like that. My God, when they hit 15 and they can say, I got PGCSE to do, I got course for you, Bobby, I can't make a church. Because they have already gotten a bad taste of what church is. So children's ministry is the first door to ministry. It starts from them. Because when they come through that door, in some churches when they get to that door, they then send the parents over to the nursery section or over to children's church where they take them. So they don't have a real encounter in here. in the sanctuary. So their sanctuary is children's ministry. And so when they get go over there, what's that over there? Not, oh man, I'm so happy to see y'all today. When they don't get that, you've lost them. So when they get to Marisha, so now, Marisha and I have actually sat down and shared ideas on how we can help each other. And I say to her, I said, you won't see it right away, but my plan as children's ministry director is to start engaging them in activities that cause them to be respectful to their parents, that cause them to develop skills in terms of responsibility and independence, so that when they get to Marisha don't have to receive 25 phone calls a week saying my child will clean up after themselves. My 15-year-old can't make a bed. And they don't know how to wash the dishes. They don't take out the garbage. So we partner, and it's good to partner. We partner with one another to say, this is where we'd like to see. These are the issues I'm having with the teenagers. These issues. And if these are the issues I'm having with the teenagers, let's see how you could prevent that by helping instill some things in them while they're young. All right, so if you ain't got passion, and you can't get passion, get out. I'm sorry, but that's the truth. The third thing is to be consistent. Be consistent. Children need stability and consistency. When they have a sense of stability and consistency, there's a level of trust that builds. And we need that because there's a lot going on in the minds of our little people. We see them as little. We see them, their point of views as insignificant. But I'll tell you, my background is education, by the way, if you didn't guess. Early childhood education. And I've been out of the classroom for about 4 years. So this summer I decided to do a summer camp for 6 weeks, from 9 to 3. And then it ended up to 7 weeks. And I didn't have any campers. I had 2 campers that were age 11. Nobody else was over the age of 10. Can I tell you about my day? Wow. I will tell you the story of one little girl. She's 6. I said 6. And I had to pick her up one morning from her mom's office. And we're driving and she says, I said, boy, you had an early morning. I said, because it's 8 o'clock and you're already at mommy's work. Miss Gasser just looked at what kind of morning I've already had. I've already been to mass, you know. I said, mass? Yeah, I have to go to mass at 6:30. My granny takes me to mass every Tuesday at 6:30 in the morning. And it's summer. I said, boy, as much as Miss Cass loved Jesus, I ain't gonna like him in 6:30 mass. She said, I know, right? So we're driving along and our conversation is going. She's 6. I'm having a conversation. I'm not talking about we're talking. I'm having a conversation with a 6-year-old. So we passed the new building on Mackey Street, the fast food joint, whatever that's gonna be. No one ever seems to know what that's gonna be. Wendy's. So she says to me, Miss Cass, why do they keep putting up all these new buildings? So I said, so here I am, Miss Cass, educator. I said, well, when you have a new business and you're establishing a new business, you have to put a building. You have to put a building up to put this business in. No, that's not what I mean. So what do you mean? Why don't we take these old buildings and renovate these old buildings into new buildings instead of building up all these new buildings all over the place? 6. She's 6 years old. 6 years old. So how in the world I go in the patty cake makers now? Come on, man. She's 6, and that is how her mind is. But I want y'all to know something. I had up to 17 kids for the summer camp. And I have to tell you that I've had at least one experience with every one of them that was just like that. But I did what she said. From the first day, some came with their iWatch on, some came with their tablets, and one or two had cell phones, and I said, oh no! I said, no. I said, what happened, Miss Gal? I said, this is a no electronic zone. Hold on, what did you say? I said, no electronics. And they was looking at me like, you joking. This gal's pranking us, right? I said, no. So put them all back in your bag, and we have no electronics for 6 weeks. For 6 weeks, those children were engaged from 9 a.m. to 3 p.m. Some days we got to campsite at 3:30 because they wasn't ready to go home. No TV. No TV. No TV. No electronics. No gadgets. In fact, I don't even have toys. But I found activities that were appealing to them. You have to engage them. You have to build relationships with them, and you have to talk to them. Little people need people to listen to them. They need to feel like they matter. Because if I can't tell you something that is crazy as it is, but in my mind it makes sense, to you it's crazy. To me, I'm 6, it makes sense. You have to tell me it's okay for me to be thinking the way I'm thinking, or help me along the way that I should be thinking. Because when I'm thinking the wrong thing, I can't come to you. Because you done shut me down. So we have to be open to talk to them. I was just sharing with Ms. Jones' wife, and I said to her, I said, most of the times I have to become childlike. I want to be an adult, you know. I've been an adult a little while now. Really like being an adult. But when I get around them, I have to be a child. And that means I have to be childlike. So I can't want to engage them and not participate in what I'm engaging them in. Okay? So when I took on this role, I will never forget the first conversation I had with Anaya and Denny. That's Pastor Denzel's children. So that already tells you that they're mind way over there, right? So Anaya says to me, Auntie Cass, why the teens have stuff to do, and the ladies have stuff to do, and we don't have nothing to do? So I said, what do you mean we don't have nothing to do? She said, we always have church on Sunday. I said, okay, so what do you think? So she said, like, y'all just get dressed up and go on bus rides with ladies ministry. We don't do nothing fun. And then the teens just get together, and Miss Marisha just have them doing all kinds of fun games, and we don't have nothing to do. I said, I got you. I got you, Anaya. I said, you promise? That's what she asked me. You promise? I said, yes. Because when you promise, they already know that if you make a promise, you gotta keep that. Yes. And so what is that they looking for? The consistency. The commitment. To say, you know what? And I told them, I made them a promise. I said, it's going to be different. You're going to feel like you are a part of this ministry. They don't want to feel like y'all babysitting them. And y'all can't have in your minds that all I'm doing is babysitting them. That's not what you're doing. Your job is to empower, to equip, and take these children into the next generation. That's our job. This is not Sunday school anymore. This is not Sunday school. I saw Pontagan to come help because not to help as in take him to children's ministry, to do a little segment. Just a little segment. I ain't taking you. Because once you come to children's church, you won't want to go back. So I ain't take you.
Don't you dare.
No. I just gonna borrow you for like one Sunday. No, because what they are interested in, we have to engage them in. But we also want to we also want to equip them with the right way to use what they are exposed to and how to use it to glorify the kingdom. They love to dance. George, what the challenge is? They teach me this in summer camp. Oh Lord, how to go? Kiki, do you love me? Are you riding? So you never ever leave from the sun. See, I know it now. I never knew that. I didn't know that exists. But they taught me that. So you know what that tells you? They're exposed. They know how to use it. Remember, I tell y'all, nobody there was over the age of 11. So how they get it? Because half of them know our phones. Well, I didn't know the song, the whole routine they could teach me. Everything. Everything. So you think I can sit down, listen here, turn it off. Turn it off. I said, y'all teach Miss Cass this challenge, man. Teach me this. Come on, Miss Cass, you got me. And they go with it. But I've engaged them. And so I've now connected and tell them, I see where you're at. And now Miss Cass can show you how to use this fun that you like, these things that you like, how you could use it in the right way. And so we cannot lose sight that they are children, and we have a duty to help them get where they need to go, but we have to be childlike when it comes to them. We can't be so unreachable. They shouldn't feel like, I can't tell. You know, right down the sea like that now? What? She don't come. One day I told them, it was so funny. We had National Pride Day. And they giving me these songs to play that they want to hear. I said, oh boy. And lo and behold, my niece, I don't see her often. My niece is there, she's very proper. And she comes and she says, can I put on the song like a boss? What? Auntie Cass, you don't know that song? No. Okay, give me your phone. Because I connected my phone. Give me your phone. And she's 7. Goes on my phone, goes into YouTube, pulls up the video. Then she goes, did you Bluetooth? She's 7. She found the song, the right version of the song as well. I put the song on, better things, it's a clean version. So when like a boss, come on. Well, why am I camp that look like, what you call it, carnival? Carnival. They come, and they go in and they, all of them, not some, all. So, when they finish playing the music, I say, forget my oil. So this time, I say, get the oil, count it and bring it on. And they came. Some kids, I don't even know if they go to church. They come and they stand up there and pray for me.
Oh, wow.
Pray for me. I let them show me what they like, Not when I say, I don't know the song. I knew what the song was coming on, what it was going to be. The minute they say, jump, 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 I said, all right. This can take us somewhere else. I let them play it, and they dance. I said, now go get over it. Come, let me lay hands on you. No. And they came. But it's amazing when you engage them, when you build trust with them, how they then trust you. And whatever you say becomes gospel. Gospel. One day I punished them with quiet time. I said, I turned off all the lights. That's it. Stop everything you're doing. It's quiet time. They was like, what? You don't be quiet this camp. Quiet time. I turned off all the lights. I lit a candle, a little scented aromatherapy candle. And I put on some classical music. Listen here. When I say quiet, you remember when your parents say, 1, 2, you start getting quiet? I minute quiet time. Shh. They didn't want to get quiet. That was a challenge for them to get quiet. So they thought that was going to cause me to say, okay, this ain't making no sense, turn the lights back on, I leave those lights off. I said, y'all can get quiet if y'all have to go to sleep. Until I see them sitting down, see them throw their head back, close their eyes, and they just sitting right there. And they got to a stillness. Now they challenged me versus they say, where you going with this quiet time? They appreciated that quiet time. And then after it's finished, it's like, oh wow, that was nice. I said, this is supposed to be punishment. Y'all wasn't supposed to have a good experience. This is supposed to be punishment. But during that time, I could speak. I was right there speaking over them and talking over their heads and declaring that no weapon that formed against you shall prosper. You should be the head, not the tail. I declare that you will always walk into open doors. Favor will follow you. And I'm walking around them in this quiet time because their eyes closed now. They think they met big, you know. And I'm speaking these words over them. And because they've already established a relationship with me and they trust me, they received whatever it is that I was speaking over them. So relationship is key. Learn something about that child, even if it's only one thing. Even if it's only one thing. Learn their favorite snack. Their favorite color. Their favorite cartoon, show, but learn something. Learn what they like to do. And when you see them, instead of telling them sit down, be quiet and listen to what I have to say, ask them how it's going. Or bring them, they like blue. Bring a blue candy to church with you and give it to them. And you just lock that child in for the rest of their life. Simple things. Children are not complicated. They are easier to deal with. Give me them 10 times over than y'all. Because y'all, they ain't judging me. They ain't judging me. They may say something funny, like one child tell me, everybody, oh, Miss Cass, I like your hair. I said, thank you. The boy say, Miss Cass, you look like noodles. I was like, noodles? How you call it noodles? And he just like, he playing with it and he goes, I like noodles. But they're not judgmental of that. To him, that was funny. Not one adult say that to me. I ain't holding my feelings. You let me go tell mom now. Your hair look like noodles. Mom mad at me, she ain't talked to me for 3 weeks. You tell a child that, they ain't on your mind. By tomorrow, they don't forget that. Alright, so now kids, as we say, they need stability. I'm going to give you a few pointers to help you to be effective in your ministry. Organize, plan, and execute. So the first thing you need to do is develop a team, a group of people that are as passionate about this ministry as you are. They don't necessarily have to do the groundwork. They just need to be able to understand your framework and help you execute the vision. All right? It's very important that you communicate with your pastor where his heart or her heart is concerning children and youth ministry, so that you are moving along the guidelines of what they have going on. So right now, I built Life's curriculum. Curriculums are very expensive, by the way. Children's ministry curriculums are very expensive. But because Life has a certain mandate that we're following, I am creating a curriculum. So the curriculum is in process because it's not completed. Because of course we have 52 weeks in a year. Ms. Cass has not written 52 weeks of curriculum. Nope. Almost there though. Keep chugging, week by week, keep chugging. And you can get there. That's how you have to do it. Otherwise it becomes overwhelming. Okay, and you don't want to overwhelm your workers. And so when you organize and plan, then execution becomes simplistic. These are the top results. Who was talking to me? It depends on the size.
Is that what she said?
She asked the question, how many people do you think should be in children's ministry? I would love to have children's ministry separated by age categories. I would love that, because I think we can be more effective. Because some things that can appeal to the 7 to 9-year-olds or 7 to 10-year-olds, the toddlers are lost. So it has to be a balance where I include fun games that the toddlers can participate in. And all that means, our toddlers just to be a little bit more advanced than our toddlers around the country. That's all that means. Because you make it relatable. These kids have more of an understanding than you give them credit for. Then we give them credit for. Some of our discussions, y'all start having discussions and don't talk to the kids as much and interact with them, have dialogue with them, you will find that having discussions and not just giving out everything and tell them take it in, and you have a conversation with them, you will learn how much they're really retaining. So that's a tip I would say. Do more discussion-based things, more interactive things, make it fun. Last week we did a challenge. I shared this quickly. We did a Bible challenge. So I told them, I put them in 3 groups, and I said, okay, every group needs to have a Bible. Some of them stopped coming with Bibles. We had 3 Bibles, and I said, okay, now your challenge is some of the scripture verses that you've learned over the course of the past 10 weeks, you got to remember at least 2 of them. Find it in the Bible. First group that finds it, and up to the front, read, you get 10 points. They ain't got no candy, no candy, no toy, no just points. They worked. Simple as I told them, find me 5 names in the Bible. It can't be Matthew, Luke, John. Find it. That worked for them. And what I did was make sure that the groups had the little ones attached to older ones, so it was a top heavy. So you just have to find a way to include. It's a little bit more challenging.